Ghost Recon Breakpoint came out 3 years ago. It's a long time ago. Time flies fast. We all know that. But did Ghost Recon get any better? Is it worth buying and playing in 2022? Let's find out.
I am a ghost, an elite soldier. Trained to strike my enemies before they...
So the game was released on October 4th, 2019, and it's understatement to say it wasn't received very well. Not by game critics or not by gamers, especially not Ghost Recon fans. Everybody hated the game. Why? Because it was just another Ubisoft looter shooter, very similar to Division, with levels, level for guns, RPG elements, level of enemies, and other bullshit. It wasn't true to the nature of Ghost Recon games, which was tactical shooter. Its predecessor, Wildlands, was better in almost every aspect. It was almost the end for the Ghost Recon, but Ubisoft made something incredible and not typical for them. They actually listened to fans and make changes that made Ghost Recon Breakpoint really great game. To me, the biggest change in the game was putting Immersive Mode, which pulled a lot of people back into the game, including me. It's basically making Breakpoint real tactical stealth military shooter, like it should be. It made a game a lot of harder, and when you turn off all HUD, you have real immersive game. And on the hardest difficulty, you can be one-shotted by enemy, which gives a lot of tension to the game. The only problem is that artificial intelligence is not so good, I gotta say, and a lot of you won't agree with me, but I enjoyed my time more with Ghost Recon Breakpoint than with Metal Gear Solid 5, because I was more immersed, because Breakpoint is more connected to reality than Metal Gear Solid, and honestly the gameplay and mechanics were more realistic than Metal Gear Solid was. Because of that, I was more connected to the game, and I think that Breakpoint is a better stealthy tactical game than Metal Gear Solid was. Breakpoint did lack is the story, which was shit. But okay, we can pass through the story because I was hooked on the gameplay mechanic and choose your own approach to cleaning up the bases and doing missions. Although some missions you gotta do like the game intended to be done. Ghost Recon even has multiplayer and you can play raids. I didn't touch on that because I'm not a multiplayer guy, but they added co-op into the game and you can play it with your friends, which is 10 times better and 10 times more fun. So if you have friends, you gotta try it to play with them. It will make your game much more enjoyable. Another thing that Ubisoft added to the game is you can customize almost all options for the gameplay, and that means you can make your wounds much more serious, and you can turn on darkest night option, which will make night very dark, and you will need to use your night and thermal goggles. In game you can customize your character by your preferences, which means changing almost every aspect of your gear, of your clothes, of your sunglasses. Most gear you will get by playing the game and finding all the blueprints and just exploring and doing missions. So Ubisoft really listened to community, made so much positive changes. After Immersive Mode, they added quite big DLCs. One of them was Deep State, where you can play as Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell, which is amazing because we haven't had a new Splinter Cell game in many years and fans are really hungry for Sam Fisher. Also we got Red Patriots, which connects with previous Ghost Recon game Wildlands. And finally, the last DLC Ubisoft released, which was a month ago, was huge DLC Motherland. Motherland has its own story and it's basically the same map but with different enemy types, different bases, new weapons and new outfits. So basically Breakpoint has so much content that you can play this for hundreds of hours if you want to do everything. That's really typical for Ubisoft games. They are always huge, and in that point we come to the problem of every Ubisoft game, and that is repeatability. That case is not different in this game, because you can get bored after some time because you are doing the same thing over and over. You are cleaning up the bases. Yes, you have different approach and you have different classes that you can play with, different weapons, but no matter everything, it can get a little bit tedious, especially if you are playing for a long time. And another problem is the world that you are playing. It feels very empty and dead. It's kind of sterile, especially when you are traversing from one point to another. Using cars and vehicles is really bad because driving sucks, and the only way I traveled was by foot or by choppers, or you can use fast travel when you unlock bivouacs, which are like camps. I really hope that Ubisoft can fix this emptiness next Breakpoint game. Also, the missions are always the same patterns. Like I said, the story is not so good. The only memorable character is the main antagonist, Walker. What I would like to see, and many would not agree with this, but I would like more survival elements. Although game has some, you can hunt animals. When I say hunt, you can just shoot them once and pick out body fat, and you can gather plants for crafting some stamina, regeneration stuff and explosives. It's less than basic. What I would like is that you can make fire by yourself, that there is inventory management, that there is terrain traverse like in Death Stranding, that there is weight to your inventory, so you need to manage it. Also, I would like a better story so we can be more immersed in the world. And of course they need to fix artificial intelligence because it needs better intelligence. We need better driving with cars because it's almost undrivable, like I already said. I really hope that Ubisoft keeps upgrading this game as much as it can be, or give us some new DLCs, or even new Ghost Recon game. Not that game they announced, Ghost Recon Frontline. I mean, what is the matter with you, Ubisoft? After all this great work and listening to fans, you release game that is another generic battle royale, or whatever that is. Whatever it is not Ghost Recon, and that is wrong direction. Also, stop NFTs. Nobody wants that, especially not in the Ghost Recon game. Get a grip, Ubisoft. And at the end, I would highly recommend Breakpoint if you like tactical shooters. And yes, it has some issues, but also I think a lot of good things that heavily overweight bad ones. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video.